All right, that's the best place to begin. Police brutality. My guest this morning includes Otiende Amollo, who is the Member of Parliament for Rarieda. We have Paul Kimani Ichung'wah, Senator, Kiambu County. We also expect Miguna, who is an independent candidate and political commentator, and Kimani Ichung'wah, also they're supposed to be in studio, but I have Otiende Amollo and I have also Kimani Ichung'wah in studio. Let's begin the conversation with that report. And gentlemen, good morning and thank you for coming. Let me begin with Otiende Amollo, being a lawyer and looking at that report. The police have dismissed it as false, but Amnesty International and human rights say that that is the state of affairs, that 3 dead, and that is from Nairobi alone.
Good morning. First of all, Ken, as I told you, I'm glad to discuss with my friend Kimani Ichung'wah, because although we disagree on a lot of things, but we disagree with civil language, I will not sit in a panel with Kimani Ichung'wah because he sent a tweet that I find completely offensive, a tweet that suggests that it is okay to maim and kill Luos. If he appears here, I will walk out. Having made that clear, I think that the action by the police is completely unconstitutional. It is completely unlawful. It is aided and abetted by Dr. Fred Matiang'i. But what surprises me is that even the president and the deputy president are urging them on. What surprises me is that the president and the deputy president do not see anything wrong when a student, a Form 4 student, Michael Okello, is shot from the back. What surprises me is that they do not see anything wrong when a 2-year-old child has bullets in her body, or a 75-year-old granny. I mean, the law is quite clear, and Article 37 is clear. Everybody has the right to demonstrate, to picket, and to petition, as long as they do it lawfully and unarmed. And the role of the police is to protect both the demonstrators and the others who are not demonstrating. But it is clear from the clips you've seen is that the police have taken the role that anytime there are any demonstrators, they must attack them. You saw in Mombasa, they attacked the demonstrators. They were not doing anything unlawful. You saw in Nairobi, they attacked the members of parliament, as they've routinely done, aiming to harm them. You saw in Kisumu, the demonstrations were quite peaceful, led by the governor, and there would be no reason to shoot anyone. I think that what the government is doing now is taking us back to what we have always called the dark old days. And what they don't realize is that the more you brutalize your own citizens, the more hardened they become. It is not that people will suddenly say now, because this government is so brutal, we will not demonstrate. They will become more hardened, and I can assure this government that we will continue with the demonstrations.
Okay. Kimani.
Yes.
I see you writing. But even if you look at what Otiende Amollo is saying, look at the tweet that was sent out by the president yesterday from his Twitter handle, right, sympathizing with people from a particular area, and no mention, especially in that tweet, yes, about the people who lost their lives, for example, in Kisumu. And just before you respond, the tweet that Otiende Amollo is talking about, Kimani Ichung'wah's Twitter account, has since been deactivated, and that's what on our Twitter handle, it's since been deactivated, but we'll be putting the tweet up. That is, the account has been suspended. I think it was reported owing to that specific tweet. So as Paul Ichung'wah responds, Ichung'wah has walked in. We'll try and have Otiende Amollo here, because it's good to fight from here and not to leave. But let Paul respond.
Well, remember, in our conversation last week, I started with a very simple statement that that indeed we have a country to think about, and that's what I would want to start by saying to Kenyans this morning, that Kenya is our country. We have a lot of stake in Kenya, all of us. And we must look at our country and ask, what is the best way forward? That's how I would like to start. First, we are all aware that the current scenario is created because we have an election that we have to conduct on the 26th. And there is competition and opposition towards the election. That is the reality. And any leader who is mindful of this country and the people would be asking what is the best exit from the current scenario so that we can do what we have to do. First, let's be clear. The way forward for this country is we must have an election. That is what our constitution says. We must have a president sitting in office. As we sit here, I've already gone through my elections as a senator and been sworn in. So has my friend, Honorable Otiende Amollo, and so many others, including James Orengo, who is leading the demonstrations, and the rest of the NASA Brigade. Having said that, then we acknowledge that we have an election for a president who is constitutionally supposed to lead this country as the head of state. Yes. And that must happen. There are no two ways about it. So looking forward, what I would want to be addressing myself is, as a responsible leader, yes, knowing that I have people who support the president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I have people who do not support most of his competitors. What is the best advice I would be giving them, knowing that I'm well versed and learned and educated on conduct as a political leader? Okay. And I would be saying to my people, one, in the first place, prepare that we are going for the election on the 26th. The ammunition you need to go to the election is only your vote. That is all. Two, you cannot stop anyone else from saying what they want to say. Let them say this, let them say that, let them say everything. But important to note, and the pinnacle of it is this, that your freedom ends where mine starts. And so, as much as, for example, my colleagues in NASA, they have the right, as well quoted by my colleague here, to demonstrate as per Article 37. And they can get out, demonstrate. But what I like reminding all of them is this, that there is an important rider, that you must do so peacefully. And if you eliminate that element of peace or peaceful as you demonstrate, then you have swung into the region of criminality. And so as long as that is observed, and knowing, and let's say this very clearly to Kenyans this morning, that we have a lot of interests, different interests. I have ardent and very passionate interest in politics, but that does not mean that the businessman next door places politics as his top priority. They have other interests. I mean, there's somebody who thinks about his business and they say, this is my top priority in life. There is somebody who is looking at their small office where they and their business. There's somebody who looks at their son or their daughter and their education. And they say, these are top priority issues in my life. And so, unless we are mindful of that as leaders, and then when we propagate our politics, we'll be able to say to our supporters, yes, we are saying this is the law, this is how you obey it, and beyond this, you are not obeying the law. All right. Now, lastly, let me make this as a last point, because I started by saying that we have a country to think about. You see, right now, as a political leader, I would be telling my people very clearly, my brother, that on the 26th in the morning, prepare, because IEBC, which is constitutionally mandated to conduct elections, and remember, we have a court order that has been given by the Supreme Court in its judgment, saying directing to IEBC conduct elections.
My question was not that, because that is a topic I'd like to discuss.
Yes.
I wanted you to comment about the amnesty report and what you think about the police brutalizing Kenyans.
Fine. That's pretty easy to do. Yes. But we have to lay the ground for discussing that report. First, because you see, even that report is a product of actions by politicians, as politicians. Okay. And you will not have that report. So we have first to lay the ground and then comment on that. Because if you don't correct the source of the wrongs, then you can't get it right. You see, you may comment on that report, we'll comment on another report by another person, but unless we address the center where these problems emanate from. And let me tell you, somebody was saying yesterday in a comment that he would almost agree to what I commented here last time and quoted as William Shakespeare's famous quote that if you want to get this country right, the country right, kill all the lawyers. You know, we are in this standoff because of lawyers. And I said so. Wherever they sit whether they're in the bench or in the bar, whether they're judges or they're prosecuting. And lastly, as now you ask on this amnesty report.
Yes.
Those reports can be made, they have been made. And I want to be the first to express my very sincere condolences, very sincere, to any person, any family who may have suffered loss of life, maiming of their people, or loss of property.
Okay.
Because as a result of the ongoing violence. So what should be the final narrative? It should be this, that politicians must be responsible. They must realize that by urging people, let's go, get out, let's go to the streets, let's go and demonstrate, they must say to those people that as you go to demonstrate, remember that if you cross the line of peace and freedom in your demonstrations, and if you do not observe the law, then you'll be crossing into dangerous territory that could be resulting in the maiming and loss of lives.
Is that what you
other
tell
lives
the
are being
protesters?
protected?
Yes. Yeah. Is that what you tell the protesters before they take to the streets?
The protesters, all the NASA protests are very clearly peaceful. We do not only tell the protesters to be peaceful, we even have marshals, peace marshals, who walk with the protesters as they protest. But the issue is not whether the protesters are violent or not. The issue is that at any time there's any semblance of any, assembly, then the police swing in and act against them. I want to tell my friend Senator Wamatangi, if it was not for lawyers, right now this country would be burning. It is the lawyers who wrote the 2010 Constitution. In 2007, at this time, we would not be discussing. The fact that we're discussing is because there's the Constitution that puts in place a mechanism of continuity and discussion. So, and as you say, you want to kill all the lawyers, you must remember that as Jubilee, you are urging all of them, including Chebukati, to do the wrong things. The report by Amnesty, it is unbelievable. And yesterday I was in a show with the police spokesperson. The report is accurate. It is not just Amnesty that has issued it. A state institution, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, has also issued a similar report. And for the police to come and deny, it means nothing. Because then they would be saying that the list of names given by Amnesty, this person is alive or this person did not exist.
Okay.
You can't just dismiss it. But I want to say two more things. First, as Senator Wamatangi talks about the right of business people to go about their business, that is true, and I completely agree. But it is not the obligation of the protesters to make sure that the business person is able to operate. That is the obligation of the police. The police, instead of protecting the protester and the business person, have focused on maiming, injuring, and killing the protesters. Lastly, about the 26th, I think Senator Wamatangi and his group believe that it is okay to have illegitimate elections on 26th, elections that do not and cannot even have all the candidates on the KM's kit. An election which on its very face is invalid and will be invalidated. So they're waiting to go through the process. A Kenyan will go to court, it will be invalidated, they will attack the Supreme Court. Instead of focusing on how to make the elections legitimate so that it cannot be invalidated. Lastly, Ken, now that Kimani Ichung'wah has arrived, I have to leave because I cannot strike him violently, I cannot be hateful like him, but at least I can share, I can decide whether to share a platform with him. I cannot share a platform with a man who believes it is okay to maim and kill Luos. I cannot.
Okay.
So you will allow me to leave.
Before you leave, I'd like Kimani to take this opportunity, one, to withdraw that tweet and to apologize to the Luo nation.
Thank you.
As Otiende Amollo.
Thank you, Ken. And let me begin before I get to
No, you will not begin before you apologize.
On the tweet.
You will apologize before you move, because yes, on the tweet, and withdraw it, yes.
On the tweet, and I wanted to first begin by thanking you for setting the record straight. Because if there's anybody who has suffered with fake news, and I'm also happy that NTV had that topic of fake news last night on Press Pass, is none other than Kimani Ichung'wah. I did get a WhatsApp message from a friend of mine, a colleague actually in Parliament, who told me that Akiwewe Luos will kill you over this fake account. Can you do something about it? At 11 p.m., I had not read any of my WhatsApp messages. At 11:05, she wrote again, so you are quiet because you support that nonsense? Maybe that's why you won't report it. You agree with the author?
Okay.
Immediately, she actually sent me a screenshot of the same tweet. Yeah.
So what you're saying is not from your tweet?
The week before, last week, I had another account suspended. An account that ran by the name Kimani Ichung'wah. At Kimani Ichung'wah, with a capital I and no H at the end.
Okay.
Let me first put the record straight that I have only one Twitter account.
Okay.
At Kimani Ichung'wah, with a H at the end.
Okay.
And all in capital letters. I have tried to verify that account, Twitter support in the process of that. There is information I will be given, so that account will be verified. So that we forget about this business. So I don't know when this other account was created. If you see that account now has it had, by the time I requested for its suspension last night at 11:20 p.m., it had 237 followers. So it's a relatively new account, probably something that was done over the weekend, because the other one got suspended either Tuesday or Wednesday last week. Okay. Now this one is at Honorable Ichung'wah. First, I never use the title Honorable anywhere in my names. Okay. Therefore, let me just first begin by putting that record straight.
So what you're straightening here is that the account that tweeted that hate message doesn't belong to you.
Doesn't belong to me. Number two, the person who notified me yesterday is a Luo colleague who works in Parliament. Therefore, let me first just begin by setting that record straight, because I've seen a lot of hate mongering, but that does not in any way intimidate me, because most likely, and it has a bearing with what you're talking about on the report by Amnesty International. Okay. Most likely, the same people creating these accounts, I can suspect, are elements within NASA geared towards achieving an ulterior motive. And I'll tell you what it is in relation to the Amnesty International report. Just immediately after the elections, there was a lot of fake news, again profiling an ethnic community that were accusing the police of targeting the Luo nation. The same propaganda has been perpetuated by none other than NASA politicians. They have spoken about profiling of ethnic communities, and you have seen the desperation with which they want to sell that agenda of seeking to profile an ethnic group. It is the same business, I want to tell you, without the benefit of doubt of what the police may know or may not know, because I've just heard from your report as I was coming that the IG has said they will issue a comprehensive report on this. I do not know the truth. But what I do know as a matter of fact is that there is a very desperate attempt by NASA politicians and their activists to profile one ethnic community as being targeted not just by the police, but by the state. Okay. It is with that they then identify even political leaders within. I have seen fake Twitter accounts from the Honorable Aden Duale. I have seen fake Twitter accounts of the Honorable William Ruto. Fake Twitter accounts belonging to many other Jubilee politicians. And we are being targeted. Why? So that you create hate and ethnic animosity. Let me say it is embarrassing. And I want to tell Otiende Amollo, I am not one person to be intimidated. You can walk out, you can rant and rave as much as you want, but you must be faithful to the truth. More than anything, being an advocate, you must be someone who seeks to pursue the truth. Therefore, do not think you can intimidate Kimani Ichung'wah by threatening to walk out of a TV station without even first verifying. I am glad, Mijungu, with your training. I had not even checked this morning whether the account has been suspended because I requested for the suspension, I reported the account, and I went to bed last night. Therefore, let us be civil, let us also be honest and faithful to nothing but the truth. In relation to the police reports, I just want to say the same thing.
Okay.
There is a lot of falsehood, that I can tell you. There's a lot of desperation to accuse the police. And this is from NASA politicians as much as it's also from certain quarters of the civil society. There are those civil society organizations that have been working with NASA. And they are very desperate because they intend to achieve an ulterior motive, Mijungu. And I want to believe that Kenyans are wiser than all these politicians who think Kenyans can be foolish to believe anything that they post on fake news, any other report that will be authored by anybody, accusing anyone else.
Ichung'wah, before we take a break, we're taking a break. I see the account that you're talking about has been tweeting as far back as 2013. Granted, right?
Which one?
The Ichung'wah, your official account that you're saying you're trying to verify, right? With the capital.
With the capital.
With the capital. That is Kimani Ichung'wah.
Can I see the picture?
Yeah, the one you have
a
jubilee shirt.
Yes.
Is it shirt or hat? But if you could confirm, this is your account. That's the official account.
Yes.
That is the official account.
I can't even tell you the one that I just retweeted the thing on the French Eiffel
But
Tower.
I noticed that you have not recounted that account or even told people, your followers, that that is a fake account and that you did not tweet and this is your
if you go back, Mijungu,
yes,
I have I'm telling you, this is the second account we created.
Okay.
If you go back, and I only knew about it last night.
Okay.
And I reported it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go back in one of the tweets, you'll see somewhere I have actually directly accused NASA.
Okay.
Someone actually tagged me on something else. It's actually Donald Kip Korir, who responded on something that had been posted on the other fake account.
Okay.
Fortunately, when he responded to my account. So I was like, what is this Donald is talking about?
But on this account, Mheshimiwa, you have not withdrawn or you have not even explained to your followers that indeed that was a fake account.
Let me tell you, I have not done that.
Yes.
And as I told you, I was reading these things last night.
Okay.
Actually, I was doing it in bed.
Reporting is a more process than just writing 40 characters and saying that tweet was not sent from my
Let me tell you, Mijingu,
yes,
they will still do it again.
All right. But would you just do that?
They'll probably, I will do that.
Yes.
But let me also say this, because it's important. That one, as much as all other accounts, probably today they will create at Honorable Kimani, or at Honorable Kim Ichung'wah or something, because they keep changing. Let me just set the record straight that my Twitter account is that one that is active now.
Yeah, and Nation is tweeting with it, so someone can pick it up.
Exactly, the one Nation uses.
Yes.
So anybody, even Otiende Amollo, who sits with me here almost every other Tuesday, at least twice a month, knows because Nation tweets using my
Nation has just picked the official tweet account. So I see
even the last time I was here,
they were tweeting with it.
And they were tagged to my account, my official account. So anybody who is intent on getting to know the truth, Mijingu,
should look at your
be able to see that.
All right.
And therefore, let me just say this to the Luo Nation,
yes,
or to our colleagues. If there is a person you will not find with ethnic hate or even ethnic profiling, it's Kimani Ichung'wah.
All right, good point.
And a man who went to one of the best schools.
Good point to take a break.
Most of my best friends came from the Luo and Somali nation.
All right.
To this day.
Time to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about that. If we convince Otiende Amollo to remain, now that we know that it's not from his official Twitter account, and we will be putting that up so that you know it. And it will just do us a little good by just tweeting on this official one and denouncing that tweet. I think a lot of people, it will be believable that way. We'll take a short break right here on AM Live. We'll be right back, and we still expect Miguna to join us. Ken Okoth is not coming, but we still have Kimani Ichung'wah, and Otiende Amollo, if we manage to convince him to stay on. And you stay with us. We'll be back.